The sharp click of Logan Pierce's leather shoes, a tech billionaire the press had dubbed the deal machine, rang against the glossy marble floor as he turned down the glass-lined hallway and pushed open the nursery door of his penthouse. Sheer curtains filtered the night into a pale, silver glow. Logan froze. The scene he knew, humidifier, warm nightlight, chestnut crib, now had an unexpected detail. A black woman in a plain nanny's uniform, sitting in the rocking chair with his daughter Maya in her arms, tilting a warm bottle with practiced ease. Her hands were firm yet gentle, her lullaby a low murmur, barely above breath. The baby suckled quietly, eyelids lowering, tiny fingers curled around hers. It was a piece Logan rarely saw. He felt his heartbeat skip, not from anger, but from the strange dissonance of a stranger holding his child in such perfect calm. "Who are you?" Logan asked, each word precise. The polite cadence of a businessman layered over the hard edge of a man used to control. The woman looked up, steady brown eyes meeting his. "Marissa Cole, temporary nanny from Bright Care. They said you needed someone tonight." Her voice was low and even, measured so as not to startle Maya. Logan stepped forward, half intending to take the baby, but Maya leaned her cheek into Marissa's elbow, drawing a few more sips, exhaling softly. That calm kept him still. "I made it clear, no one touches her," Logan said, the steel in his tone more from fear of losing control than threat. Marissa didn't argue or bow her head. She was crying to the point of hiccups. I couldn't just watch. She tipped the bottle just right, then eased it away as Maya paused, patting her back with a rhythm like a metronome. "Put her in the crib," Logan ordered, pointing toward it. "Now." "Not yet." Marissa shook her head slightly. "If you put her down right now, the startle reflex will kick in. She needs to feel held long enough to pass that threshold." She spoke without flaunting expertise, more like muscle memory honed over countless nights. "You talk like you've done this 1,000 times, Logan said, folding his arms, trying to rebuild his usual wall. He was used to giving orders, not yielding control, especially in his own home. "Once is enough to change someone forever," Marissa replied, her eyes softening as Maya sighed and curled closer into her chest. Logan caught that flash in her gaze, the look of someone who had once lost something, carrying a child through loneliness. He lowered his voice. "She didn't eat with me tonight." "Because you're tense," Marissa murmured without judgment. "Kids feel that. They don't need perfect. They need safe." The word safe struck the hollow place inside Logan. He had bodyguards, bulletproof doors, lawyers on call 24/7. But safety, in the sense that a child stops crying because they trust someone is there, that was foreign to him. The phone on the changing table buzzed. Charlotte Hayes, chairwoman of the board. 3 missed calls. Logan flipped it face down. Marissa glanced at it. No curiosity, just noting. "You're avoiding an important call," she said, still patting Maya's back in time. "You don't know what's going on in my company," Logan retorted, defensive. "I know when someone's pretending there's no problem," she said evenly, without nicking his pride. Logan studied her more closely. She wasn't the polished, deferential hire he was used to. No tiptoeing, no flattery. She just did what was right for the child. For the first time, he felt no need to win this silent tug-of-war. "How do you know what she needs?" he asked, part challenge, part genuine curiosity. "Because I've been there." Marissa shifted her hold, cupping Maya's head in her palm. The movement, pure instinct. "Alone. No one to help. My son lost his father at 2 months. There were nights I didn't think I'd make it." She spoke as if stating the weather, not dramatizing but with a truth that carried weight. Logan loosened his collar unconsciously. In the boardroom, he bought and won with cold logic. In this room, logic couldn't buy trust. What worked here were hands, voice, warmth, and presence. Maya had finished. Marissa set the bottle down, tested the leftover warmth against her skin, and pulled a muslin blanket over the baby's belly. She didn't set her in the crib yet, only rocked in a narrow arc, steady as a heartbeat. "You could," Logan began, but stopped. The words "put her down" got stuck, replaced by "thank you." Marissa dipped her head slightly, as if that was the only right response. "I will, eventually, but not while she's still deciding if the world will hold her." Logan looked at the baby monitor camera, then at Marissa's arms, a nest. He thought of deals, risk reports, and how he'd never accounted for emotional risk, the cost of missing the right hug. The phone buzzed again. Charlotte Hayes. He turned it face down once more. Marissa paused the rocking chair, glancing at him. Sometimes, being alone isn't strength, it's just habit. Logan didn't answer immediately. Maya breathed evenly, bottle still warm. The city outside blurred into ribbons of light. Inside, a stranger had just taught him a meaning of safety no firewall or security team could touch. Maya nestled deeper against Marissa's chest, letting out a long sigh, so faint that Logan had to narrow his eyes to believe it was real. "Now she can go down," Marissa said, rising as fluidly as a cat. She set Maya in the crib at a diagonal angle so the baby wouldn't startle, keeping her palm on the little chest for exactly 3 breaths before pulling away. The child didn't cry. Logan stood beside the crib, unfamiliar with such ease. "Where did you learn that?" "Night," Marissa replied with a thin smile. "Long nights with no one to take a shift." Logan tilted his head. "You sound like you don't need the money." "I need the work," Marissa said plainly. "But here, the thing that matters most is doing right by her. Money doesn't soothe lungs raw from crying." The answer pushed Logan off his usual negotiating track. He slipped a hand into his pocket, fingertips brushing the barrel of a fountain pen, a habit when he needed his logic. But tonight, logic felt like the thing making him jagged. "I am not good with a bottle," Logan admitted, rare for him. "I'm afraid I'll do it wrong." "Most dads I meet are," Marissa said lightly, without mockery. "They're used to quick results, smooth charts, clear deadlines. But children arrive when they want to. The only thing you can control is showing up." His phone buzzed. This time it was a text. "Logan, answer now. Whitestone has proposed new terms." "Charlotte." He turned off the screen. Marissa glanced sideways. "You're ignoring something that could blow up by morning." Logan exhaled. "They want to sell off the cloud infrastructure I built over 7 years. Charlotte says it'll save the stock price. I say it'll save the company's soul." He gave a dry laugh. "The board doesn't believe in souls." Marissa leaned a hip against the changing table, not invading his space but present. "Maybe no one's asking you, who's saving you?" The question startled him with its simplicity and accuracy. Who was saving him? Maya had saved him from the darkness of the nights after his wife's funeral, but she was also the weakness everyone wanted to press. He braced his hands on the crib, watching his daughter kick lightly under her blanket. "My wife, Elena, left too fast. The debt came from her side." He swallowed. "I thought silence was how I'd protect Maya." "But silence smells like blood to predators." Marissa nodded. "Silence to lick your wounds makes sense, if the door's locked tight. But when the door's open, silence is an invitation." "My door's closed," Logan said. Marissa glanced at the baby monitor, tilting her head. Safety isn't just a locked door. It's the stance you take when the knock comes. She'll read that stance the same way you read a balance sheet. For some reason, Logan smiled, truly smiled, the kind that softened the bridge of the nose, not just the corners of the mouth. "You used to work security?" Marissa's gaze dipped for a moment as if flipping to an old page. "I used to wear a badge. Then one day, the badge couldn't save my son's sleepless nights. I chose the child." Logan stayed silent for a long beat. He could see the cable connecting those fragments. Badge, night, choice, pulling into a single line of meaning. He was about to thank her again when the doorbell abruptly cut him off. A hard, clipped knock, like a hammer on sheet metal. Marissa straightened instantly. Her posture shifted from calming to protective in a single breath. "Stay here," she said quietly, reaching for the baby monitor, eyes scanning the room's blind spots. Logan switched the hallway camera on the wall console. Two men in dark suits, expensive but frayed at the hems, stood waiting, chins tilted in the way of people accustomed to imposing. "No one's expected tonight," Logan said, his voice already changing color. Marissa nodded, sliding half a step to block the line of sight from the door to the nursery hallway. "I'll open it," she said. Logan hesitated for a fraction, then nodded, maybe for the first time in this home, letting someone else take the lead. The moment the door cracked open, the man on the left spoke. Smooth voice like an old lawyer. "Mr. Pierce, we need to discuss Mrs. Elena's debt." The one on the right leaned to look past Marissa, trying to count doors. Marissa didn't block him forcefully. She simply placed one hand on the frame, soft in appearance, but impossible to pass. "You have 3 seconds to step away from this hallway," she said, her voice low enough not to wake Maya, cold enough to cut through borrowed confidence. "Who are you?" the man on the right sneered. "The person who ends this conversation if either of you glances behind me again." Marissa's face didn't change. Logan, standing half a step back, watched. He saw in her stance an invisible lock. Shoulders steady, weight low, eyes not testing but assessing risk. The language of someone who once wore a badge. 3 breaths hung at the threshold. The air of intimidation thinned, leaving the damp rubber smell of the hallway carpet. Then the man on the left stepped back. "We'll be back. Not tonight," Marissa replied, "and never in front of a child's door." The door closed with a sound as small as an underline. Marissa locked it and turned back. Before Logan could speak, she said, "They're not here for debt. They're here to see if this house has someone at the door." Logan felt a shiver run across his skin. "Leverage," he murmured. In a boardroom, the word meant pressure to force a signature. At the threshold, it meant a child and a weary parent. "Exactly," Marissa said. "Tomorrow they may come back with more legal-sounding words, but tonight they wanted to remember one thing. What stance was in front of them?" Logan leaned back against the wall, breathing slowly. "You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did," Marissa countered quickly, though her voice stayed warm. "You glanced at your phone when the knock came. They measured that blink." Maya let out a soft coo from the crib. Both of them turned instinctively. Marissa lowered her voice. "I'll stay until the hallway stops smelling of unfamiliar shoes." For the first time that night, Logan let his shoulders drop. The word safe now had a shape. A black woman standing at the door, hand on the frame, voice holding the house still. The hallway settled back into silence. Not the silence of sleep, but the kind that follows the beating of war drums. Logan hung his suit jacket over the back of a chair and motioned toward the kitchen. "Tea?" he asked, as if asking permission for the adrenaline to ebb. Marissa shook her head, eyes still scanning the wall console. She switched the camera to sweep every 30 seconds and disabled the baby monitor's two-way audio to prevent interference. "You don't have to stay," Logan repeated, the habitual way of paying someone back with words when they'd gone beyond their job description. "I'll stay," Marissa replied simply. "At least until the smell of threat leaves the air." The way she named it made Logan laugh, a laugh that came after a storm. "There's a smell?" "Yes, urgency, like brake rubber when a car's forced to stop." They sat in the living room. Logan chose the chair opposite hers, keeping a respectful distance. He looked at Marissa's hands, hands that had soothed the child to sleep and blocked a door. "You have a child?" Logan asked gently. Marissa nodded. "Jordan, 8 years old, smart, stubborn, and thinks every lock is a puzzle." A brief smile softened her face. "He was born premature. There were nights I counted every breath." "That's why you don't dismiss fear," Logan said, as if finding the key to her calm. She didn't brag about courage. She wasn't fearless because she'd never known fear. She was fearless because she had. Exactly. Fear teaches you order. Who needs holding first? Who needs teaching after? Logan leaned back, looking at the ceiling. "I thought I could buy safety, steel doors, rapid response teams, legal counsel. But tonight I saw another kind, someone standing in the right place." Marissa didn't smile like she'd won something. She just nodded. "A child's safety is rhythm. When you keep the rhythm, they give you their sleep. When the door keeps the rhythm, the house gives you its peace." Through the open doorway, Logan saw Maya gently kicking under her blanket, a sign of light dreaming. He realized something. The tallest wall he'd built wasn't glass or stone. It was the habit of doing everything himself. His phone lit up again. Another sharp, bullet-pointed message from Charlotte. "If you don't respond in 15, we lose Whitestone. The board will convene emergency." Logan exhaled, typed 3 words, meeting 8 a.m., and hit send. "You just set the rhythm for the outside," Marissa said, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. "Good. Inside, the rhythm's steady." Logan met her gaze. "I'm used to people adding conditions when they help me." He lifted his chin, the pride of a man who disliked owing, framing it in words. "You didn't?" "I'm not here for you," Marissa said, glancing toward the crib. "I'm here for Maya." The statement went all the way to the core of a value system. Logan paused, because it lowered his ego while lifting the thing he loved most. Strangely, the feeling wasn't anger, but lightness. He understood the squared root of trust, trusting someone not because they care for you, but because they care for what you love. "You used to..." Logan tipped his chin, fishing from the badge comment earlier. Marissa nodded. "Yes, I was a police officer for a few years. Then Jordan came. I took off the badge, kept my child." "You don't regret it?" "No, I still protect. Just now, the subjects are children and the homes that need someone at their door." The words were simple, but to Logan they sounded like a rewritten oath. The nursery's nightlight dimmed on its timer. Maya shifted but didn't cry. Logan stood, unconsciously adjusting her blanket. Marissa watched and gave a small, almost ceremonial nod, a tiny certification of fatherhood in rhythm. "They might come back tomorrow," Logan said, eyes still on Maya. "Maybe with lawyers, maybe by email. Elena's debt is real, but their goal isn't just money." "True," Marissa said, pulling a chair nearer the door. "Tonight we set the rhythm. You sleep 4 hours, That's good. I'll keep watch. She said, keep watch, in a way that made Logan smile without thinking. The phrase deflated corporate words like risk management and policy. How much for tonight? Logan asked, the pricing reflex surfacing. Marissa shook her head. As per the Bright Care contract, I don't bid in front of a child's crib. Logan pressed his lips together. In his world, everyone wanted more than the contract. Here, the contract was enough. It made breathing easier. He nearly said something too personal for a first meeting, so he replaced it with, if you're willing, I'd like you to stay, not just tonight. Marissa didn't nod immediately. She looked at Maya, then at the hallway, then finally at Logan. I'll set conditions. For Maya, consistent schedule, no shouting into phones in front of her. And when the door knocks, the stance here doesn't change. Logan smiled, a smile with an exhale in it. Agreed. The answer came so quickly they both heard its truth. Outside, the city kept flashing relentlessly. Inside, an agreement had just been signed, not in ink, but in the breathing rhythm of a child. The hallway had returned to silence. Not the silence of sleep, but the hush after a storm, the pause that lets the rhythm reset. Marissa leaned against the doorframe for a moment, listening with the intuition of someone who had kept a night watch. The hum of the air conditioner, the gear change of the elevator, the low thrum of the city. Then she stepped into the living room, pulled out a stack of yellow sticky notes, and wrote in crisp, all-caps letters. Door code. Only open when the visitor says, Lily blooms at 3 o'clock. Position, Maya always in nursery. Logan stands to the left of the door at an angle, out of sight. Call for backup. Concierge Diego and security desk on standby. Elevator. Restrict access to PH2 for 2 hours. Only unlock with confirmation from Cole or Pierce. Exit route. Stairwell B, spare key in the right kitchen drawer. Anything you want to add? Marissa offered the pen. Logan scanned the note as if reviewing a term sheet, then added, hallway camera to record continuously, store for 24 hours, send me a copy in the morning. She nodded, picked up the landline. Diego, this is Cole, PH2. We had unannounced visitors earlier. Please restrict elevator to PH2. Open only with confirmation from me or Mr. Pierce, and have security patrol the penthouse hallway every 30 minutes until 5 a.m. Thanks. Hanging up, she typed a short update into Diego's internal group chat. PH2 is on night rhythm. No envelopes or paperwork at the door. Marissa checked the nursery the way a technician inspects a plane before takeoff. Window latch secure, crib position, airflow direction, blanket not covering past the chest, baby monitor angled so it wouldn't shine into the baby's eyes. Maya was asleep, lips parted with a faint silver line of milk. Logan stood quietly, his expression softening. First time tonight she's breathing deep, he murmured, as if afraid to pop the bubble of calm. The house's rhythm is steady now, Marissa replied, dimming the nightlight to a twilight glow. She didn't touch Maya again. She simply rested her palm on the crib's rail for 3 breaths, then withdrew. A small, almost invisible act that told the child a grown-up was still there. Logan's phone lit again. Charlotte Hayes. 3 missed calls lined up like exclamation points. Marissa didn't look, only said softly, if you need to call, call. If you need to wait, I'll be here. Logan flipped the screen face down and exhaled. Meeting at 8, not before, he said, as if signing a contract. They walked a circuit of the apartment. Marissa checked smoke alarms, smart lock status, fire extinguisher placement, camera angles. Logan saw familiar objects take on their true function, not high-end decor, but tools for keeping rhythm. You always set up, a protocol this fast?" he asked. "Night teaches you not to ramble," she smiled, "especially when there's a child in the house." She tucked the door code note inside the frame of a family photo, hidden from strangers, obvious to household eyes. "If the door knocks again, I go. You stay with Maya. That's the right division." Logan nodded. He looked at his own hands. Just minutes ago they'd trembled adjusting a blanket. "I'm not good with bottles," he admitted, rare for him. "And I'm afraid of doing it wrong." "Adults are allowed to be afraid," Marissa said gently. "Rhythm is the best cure for fear. You slow down and see you can still do it." She handed him the baby monitor, turning the volume to just right. "If she fusses in her sleep, don't rush in. Count your own 3 breaths first." Logan smiled faintly. "You're making me count things I thought only intelligence could solve." She shrugged. "Brains make money. Rhythm keeps a home." They sat in the living room. Marissa set down a cup of ginger tea she'd brewed from the last packet in the cupboard. Logan said it had been Elena's. He met her eyes for a single, brief beat, then looked away. Marissa didn't ask. She knew silence had its own place in the night. She texted Diego another line. "Flag any invalid keycard swipes to the penthouse after 1:30 a.m. Report to me." Diego replied with a thumbs-up emoji. Marissa pulled a folding chair to face the door, set the teapot on the floor to avoid spills, and slipped off her shoes to better hear the floorboards. "You should close your eyes for a bit," she said. "I'll keep watch." Logan wanted to argue out of habit, but didn't. He pulled a light blanket over himself, lying on his side so he could still see the door. Before drifting into a short sleep, he murmured, "Thank you for standing at the door." Marissa didn't answer. She simply listened to the night drawing in like a taut chord and kept it at the right rhythm. 2:13 a.m. The soft ping of an incoming email landed like a drop of water in a porcelain cup. Logan pushed himself halfway upright, reaching for his phone. The subject line was bold and black. Immediate demand. Estate of Elena Pierce. Sent from Vance and Morrell, LLP. He opened it, the harsh white light spilling onto the ceiling. "We require Mr. Pierce's presence before 10 Hood to discuss enforcement of UCC 1 pertaining to pledged assets, including joint interests via Drexel Crescent Holdings. Failure to appear will result in notification to the Board of Directors and relevant stakeholders regarding reputational risk." The CC line delivered its polite blade. Charlotte Hayes. Marissa had already straightened in her chair by the door at the first chime, like an instrument that recognized its exact note. "It's here," she said softly. Logan handed her the phone. She read it slowly, evenly. "They don't need Tensi. They need 2:13 a.m., the moment you lose rhythm." She tapped the CC line. "And they know how to borrow a hand from inside your own board to pump the pressure." Logan swallowed. "Do I answer now or wait?" The sound of himself asking felt strange. This was a man used to closing billion-dollar deals with 3 emails, now aware he needed a rhythm more than an instinct. "Don't answer at 2 a.m., Marissa said. "The night belongs to Maya and this home, but we can draft it and schedule it." She gestured, and Logan opened his laptop, the blue glow spilling across his face. He typed, "Received. My legal counsel will respond following the 8:09 meeting. Please direct all further correspondence to legal." Marissa nodded. "Good. Add BCC, your personal attorney plus general counsel, and a separate note to the building manager. Do not accept any legal documents at PH2's door. All deliveries go to my attorney's office." Logan did as she instructed, his hands steadier than expected. "Schedule for 6:55, she reminded him. Don't give them the right to invade your night. He selected the time, clicked Schedule. A thin green line appeared next to the email, rhythm set. "And Charlotte?" Logan asked, staring at her name on the CC line as if it were a shadow in the courtyard. "She'll call. When she does, hold to 8, not earlier. Everything else waits for morning, when the light's on your side," Marissa said, her tone not lecturing but like a teammate reminding another of the play they'd both memorized. He leaned back, suddenly wanting to talk about Elena but unsure where to start. "Drexel was an investment she made on her own. I thought it was small. After the funeral, they sent me a stack of papers I couldn't get through." He gave a dry laugh. "I thought silence was how I kept anyone from touching Maya." Marissa didn't interrupt. She knew silence could be a kind of cleansing, and that the speaker needed their own rhythm to finish. "But silence smells like blood to predators," Logan concluded, almost surprised that the words had come out exactly right. Marissa set the teapot back on the table, refilling his cup. "Tonight, you've named something," she said, glancing toward the door. "Leverage. Once you know its name, you know its path. You don't chase it. You pull the rhythm back to you." Another email slid in. "Notice of media interest." Also from Vance and Morrell, more artfully worded, hinting at their ability to coordinate information to ensure transparency. Marissa waved it off. "Don't open it." "Morning?" Logan let out a quiet laugh. Being allowed to ignore bait felt strangely liberating. She picked up the landline, called Diego. "If anyone tries to serve documents in the lobby, please take a photo and send it to me. Don't let them take the elevator without building authorization. Thank you." Diego confirmed he'd flagged the PH2 file with no service of process at door. "You should get some rest," Marissa said again. "I'll listen for you." Logan lay down on the sofa, at this time not fighting it. Before closing his eyes, he glanced at the nursery, Maya's small silhouette under honey-colored light. He heard the faint scratch of Marissa's pen on her sticky notes, adding the guard's patrol schedule, marking that Stairwell B's door was checked, underlining the Lily Code once more. Small things stacked into a wall. The night slid by like a runway, everything set, send times scheduled, phones face down. There was someone keeping watch. This silence wasn't an invitation to wolves, it was a silence under guard. 4:06 a.m. A sharp, brief cry, higher than usual, split Logan's sleep in two. He was already moving toward the nursery before the monitor lit up. Marissa was there, as if she slept with her ears, not her eyes. "A little warm," she said, pressing the back of her hand to Maya's forehead, then quickly to her neck for confirmation. Thermometers in the left drawer. 38.1. Logan felt his chest tighten. "Mild fever," Marissa said, her voice a straight road for him to follow. "We bring it down gradually, no cold water, just warm compresses. First, the back of the neck and the underarms." She demonstrated, her hands moving with the steady precision of someone measuring coffee. "Wipe. Pause, half a beat. Wipe. Set the cloth at the rim of the bowl. Lower the thermostat by 1 or 2 degrees. I'll turn on low white noise." Logan followed instructions, his mind clearing with the focus of concrete tasks. "Do we need to call the doctor?" he asked, realizing his voice wasn't trembling as much. "Call your pediatric hotline so it's on record, but don't panic," Marissa replied, her eyes fixed on Maya's breathing. "If you're comfortable, skin to skin will steady her heart rate and breathing." Logan hesitated for a beat, then unbuttoned his shirt and held Maya against his bare chest. The soft heat of her skin pressed into his, her cry dropping by a note, then easing down like water flowing over a step. The night shift nurse on the line spoke evenly. Mild fever. Monitor, keep hydrated. Call back if it goes above 38.5 degrees or there are unusual signs. Logan wrote down every word, as if signing a contract with the morning. Marissa adjusted the blanket, slid a pillow behind his back so he could keep the rhythm longer. The landline rang. Diego? Ms. Cole? System flagged an invalid keycard swipe at the PH elevator at 419. Denied access, but I'm letting you know. Marissa held the receiver close, her eyes flicking to the monitor. Deactivate that card immediately. Have security check B3 garage cameras from 410 to 425. Send me the log and stills. No engagement, just document. Hanging up, she turned back to Maya. We split the variables, she murmured, as if solving an equation. Child first, then the door. Logan nodded, holding the baby a little tighter, matching his breathing to a slower, deeper rhythm. 3 minutes later, Maya's hiccups stopped. At 5 minutes, her tiny hands relaxed. By 7, the thermometer read 38.0. Marissa smiled, and for the first time that night, a shard of real light touched Logan's eyes. It's down, she whispered, placing her warm palm on Maya's back for one beat to lock in the calm. She handed Logan a glass of water, reminding him to drink. The little things, hydration, back support, thermostat, were all part of keeping rhythm. His phone buzzed. Diego had sent a screenshot of the log, an unfamiliar card ID swiped twice, 21 seconds apart. Attached was a garage camera still, a black SUV leaving, plate slightly blurred but readable, 8NQ6A7. Marissa saved the image into a folder labeled Door 419 and replied, Thank you. Disable all guest cards without scheduled access. Whitelist, Logan Pierce, Marissa Cole, Dr. Reena Patel, pediatrician, Nurse Amber Lewis. Everyone else verifies via Lily code. You planning to call anyone? Logan asked. Meaning the badge days. In the morning, I'll have someone run the plate legally. Marissa nodded, without bravado. Right now, the variable named Maya needs us more. She glanced at the thermometer's history graph and nodded once. Stable. Logan placed Maya back in the crib at the diagonal angle Marissa had taught him, keeping his hand on her chest for exactly 3 breaths. She didn't startle. He withdrew his hand slowly, like pulling a flag from the wind. Marissa drew the blanket to her belly, leaving her arms free. Now we hydrate you, she said, pouring more tea. Coffee at 5. You'll want a cup before 8. Logan gave a small laugh. You build a roadmap like a veteran PM. PM of a household. Marissa shrugged. She moved into the kitchen, grinding beans just loud enough, pouring 85-90 water, timing the pour in narrow circles. The smell of coffee opened a side door to morning. You think that swipe was one of theirs? Or just a lost card? Logan asked, hands wrapped around the warm cup. No rush to conclude, Marissa said. But choosing 419 means someone's building a habit, testing the door when the night is thin. We'll teach them a different habit, that the door is manned. Logan leaned back, eyes on the nursery. Maya's breathing was steady, lips pursed. He skimmed his notes in his notebook. Lily code, elevator restriction, no service at door, 6:55 send time, pediatric hotline. He framed a new sentence in fountain pen. No one breaks Maya's rhythm. 4:58, Marissa noted. Close your eyes for 10 minutes, I'll watch the clock. 5:10, we get up, eat something, change clothes. 6:55, the email goes out. 7:20, we leave. Her voice had the cadence of a conductor marking strong and weak beats for an orchestra. Logan didn't argue. He closed his eyes for the first time, understanding what it meant to sleep in a house with a watch at the door. Not deep sleep, but not restless either. When he opened them, the clock read 5:11. Marissa had set out toast with a touch of butter, a steaming cup of coffee, and a glass of water. She tapped the note hidden behind the picture frame, Lily code, like a ritual. In the low gray of early morning, the night's 2 points of tension, Maya's fever and the strange elevator swipe, had been separated, handled on 2 different rhythms. No collisions, no knocks. Only the problems of daylight ahead. Problems they already had a rhythm for. At the glass threshold, the city was starting to change color, and in the crib, Maya rolled over, making a sound no bigger than a grain of sand. Logan and Marissa turned toward her instinctively, both smiling, a smile that needed no words. The night was over, and the rhythm still held. 7:55 a.m. The elevator doors slid open. Diego was waiting, nodding. "Good luck, Mr. Pierce, Miss Cole." Marissa stepped aside for Logan to go first, carrying a small bag, thermometer, wipes, spare bottle, a folded copy of the protocol. The company car was waiting at the curb. Logan got in, opening the meeting agenda. 1. Whitestone. 2. Demand letter from Vance and Morrell. 3. Conflict of interest clarification. 4. Preserve the cloud division. He texted Alicia Monroe, outside counsel. ADA's conference room. Need you present. Alicia replied with OK and a gavel emoji. At the door to conference room A, Marissa stopped. "I'll wait outside," she said. "If anything odd happens in the hallway, I'll come in." Logan nodded. "If I start raising my voice, signal me to slow the rhythm." Marissa tapped 2 fingers to her own wrist, a rhythm cue. Logan smiled and pushed the door open. Inside, Charlotte Hayes was already seated at the center of the table, hair in a high knot, jacket a cold shade of gray. Independent directors Harold Kim and Marta Rossi were flipping through files. General Counsel Victor Tan adjusted his glasses. Logan took the head seat. "We start at 8:00 sharp," he said calmly. Item 1, Whitestone. Charlotte didn't waste time. "Whitestone's deadline is 9/2. If not signed, they walk. I propose a vote to give me negotiating authority right now." She slid a slim packet forward, the term sheet. 10 seconds of reading was enough for Logan to see the embedded hooks, locked-in low price, and an unusual clause granting Whitestone access to cloud division data. "Question," Logan said. "Does Whitestone share any advisory relationship with Vance and Morrell, the law firm that sent a letter at 2:13 a.m.? Charlotte hesitated a beat. "That's a legal question. Victor?" Victor cleared his throat, opening his laptop. "Quick search shows Vance and Morrell represented a Whitestone-affiliated fund in a 2019 deal. At present, no direct contractual link, but..." Alicia Monroe walked in exactly on cue. But no now doesn't mean never. And being sissied late at night as board chair by a law firm pressuring the CEO is a procedural problem. She took the seat beside Victor, opening her folder. "I recommend separating variables. 1. Form an independent committee to review Whitestone. 2. Require Charlotte to step back from any discussion involving Vance and Morrell and Whitestone until the conflict review is complete." Charlotte leaned back, cold smile. "Alicia, are you implying I'm influenced by the creditors of Logan's late wife?" Alicia didn't flinch. "I'm not implying. I'm proposing a process to protect both the company and you." Harold spoke up. "I support forming a committee. This is sensitive." Marta nodded, eyes on the term sheet. "Whitestone's data access clause is highly irregular." Logan scanned the table. "I will not sign away the company's soul to save a single EPS line this quarter. The cloud division is our heart. If we need cash, we cut non-core assets. As for the 213 letter, I propose internal confidentiality. All contact with Vance and Morrell goes through Victor and Alicia." Charlotte's smile thinned. Logan, fine words. But at 9 haws without a signature, shareholders will ask who takes responsibility for the drop. I do, Logan said. And I'll answer with the right reason, long-term value and clean process. Outside the glass wall, Marissa spotted a man lingering too long at the hallway corner. She walked over. Can I help you? The man, dark suit, overly sweet cologne, said, looking for room A, his eyes sliding past her, counting doors. Room A is in a closed session, Marissa replied, blocking the line of sight. You can wait in the lobby. He shrugged and left. Marissa noted shoes, wrist, no access badge, suspicious. Inside, Victor called for a vote. Result, 3-1 in favor. Form an independent committee. Charlotte to step back from Whitestone and Vance and Morrell discussions. Charlotte gripped her folder edge, the mask slipping just enough for everyone to see a hairline crack. I accept, she said flatly. But I'll require the minutes to record who takes responsibility if the price point worsens. Noted, Alicia replied, pen scratching. When the meeting broke for 10 minutes, Logan stepped out. Marissa met him with a questioning look. It's good, Logan said. Independent committee. Charlotte's out for now. Good, Marissa nodded. Hallway scout just now. I'm telling reception. She texted Grace at the front desk. Dark suit male, no badge, near 27th floor hall. Alert security. Back inside, Logan opened the scheduled email. At 6:55, the letter to Vance and Morrell had gone out, directing all contact to council. Vince and Derek, the debt collectors, had replied with a nameless line. Don't let the girl grow up in a scandal. Logan tamped down the anger, handing his phone to Alicia. She recorded it. That's an indirect threat. We'll preserve it as evidence. By the end, the committee was formed. Harold as chair, Marta as member, Alicia as advisor. Whitestone was told to extend their deadline and remove the data access clause if they wished to proceed. Charlotte said nothing, buttoning her coat like drawing the final curtain. Logan gathered his files, exhaling. Time to go home, Marissa said. Home, Logan agreed. In the car, Logan's phone buzzed. Diego sent a photo of last night's black SUV, plate 8NQ6A7. Attached was a new photo. A bouquet left at the penthouse door, white card reading, Cooperate, and everything stays quiet. Marissa glanced at it. Don't open, don't touch, go up from the garage, I'll handle it. The car turned into the underground, the city sliding away behind them. The morning had stripped the masks from a few faces. What remained was the rhythm to be kept. The elevator opened into the parking garage. Marissa waited for Logan to lift Maya from the stroller, covering her with a light blanket. We'll take the service elevator, she said. Fewer eyes. Diego had already messaged that security would meet them at the junction. At the penthouse door, the bouquet and white envelope sat neatly, the kind of polite knock disguised as a gift. Don't touch, Marissa reminded him. She snapped photos from 3 angles, noted the hallway camera serial, then called Diego. Bring gloves evidence bag, take it down to building management, label, do not open. Got it, Diego replied. Inside, Logan's phone buzzed with a new alert. A gossip blog had leaked Billionaire tech CEO tied to late wife's debt. The headline dripped with bait. Marissa glanced at it. Don't read the comments. Don't engage there. We set our rhythm in our own center. Official email and the boardroom. But if a reporter comes to the door, Logan asked. No one talks at the door, Marissa said firmly. Reception will block them. All responses go through PR. I'll post a notice at the door. No service accepted. No press answers at residence. Contact legal department. She printed it, sealed it in plastic, and taped it neatly under the camera. The landline rang. Grace from the lobby. Two people insist on hand-delivering papers to Mr. Pierce. Won't leave them at the desk. Don't accept, Marissa said. Direct them to legal counsel at the address in the email. If they linger, have security escort them off the property. Understood. Logan carried Maya into the nursery. Thermometer, 37.7. Warm, but not high. He changed her diaper, washed his hands, and prepped a spare bottle exactly to Marissa's notes, leaving it ready. Watching him, Marissa nodded. You're not shaking anymore. Still am, Logan smiled. But less. He set Maya down, hand on her chest for 3 breaths, then withdrew. She stayed calm. The doorbell chimed. It was Diego with the evidence bag. Marissa gloved up, placed the bouquet and envelope inside, labeled 1108, sender unknown. She signed off with Diego, both taking photos for record. Thanks, Diego. Keep it until Alicia picks it up. Alicia's text came. Send me everything. I'll be there at 14. Marissa forwarded photos, logs, and hallway video. Victor Tan from the company messaged, requested. Whitestone extend deadline and drop data clause. Awaiting reply. 11:30. Vince and Derek appeared in the lobby. Internal cameras caught their faces clearly. They asked to talk like adults with Logan. Grace called up. They say they have sensitive information, she told Marissa. Grace, tell them. All sensitive information must go through legal counsel. No exceptions. They're making a scene in the lobby. Call security. If they raise their voices, escort them out. If they refuse, call non-emergency police. I'll send you their photos and the log now. Hanging up, Marissa turned to Logan. They've changed the arena, from your hallway to the building's lobby, but our rhythm stays the same. Logan nodded, though his fingers worked at the seam of his pocket. If they bring up Maya, then the lawyer will explain to them about threats involving a child, Marissa said evenly. And this house, we've already posted the sign. An email dropped in. Whitestone agreed to a 48-hour extension, proposing a private meeting with Charlotte for a quick discussion. Victor hit reply all. All discussions go through the independent committee. No private meetings. Logan closed his eyes for a second. The rhythm was swinging back their way, but it couldn't slack. 12:10. Maya sniffled, eyes half shut, fists clutching her blanket. Logan shifted the rocking chair, lowering the white noise to the quietest setting. Marissa fetched a warm cloth for the back of her neck. If it's 37.8 in 2 hours, I'll call Dr. Patel for a televisit, she said. Logan nodded. Logan's phone lit. Charlotte. He looked at Marissa. She held up 2 fingers. 2 sentences, short, clear, keep rhythm. Charlotte? Logan. The press is speculating. My PR team needs a statement. Company statement goes through the committee, Logan said flatly. Family statement goes through legal. I'm not commenting at the door. You're blowing this out of proportion, Charlotte snapped. We're losing time. We're buying something worth more than time. Clean process, Logan replied, hanging up before the next volley. He looked at Marissa. 2 sentences. Enough, she said, a slight curve at her lips. 1:55 p.m. The doorbell. Alicia arrived, file bag in hand. She put on gloves, inspected the bouquet and envelope, nodded. Chain of custody's good. With tongs, she slid the card into a smaller bag. 5 words, printed in an anonymous font. Cooperate, and it stays quiet. Alicia glanced at Logan. That's a soft threat. Enough for me to send a warning letter and, if needed, file for a harassment injunction. Do it, Logan said. Alicia set up her laptop at the table. Media, silence until an approved statement. Whitestone, they've conceded half the data clause. I'll press for the rest. Vance and Morell. I've confirmed a former partner is advising one of Whitestone's satellite funds informally. Enough to justify the committee and the conflict review. Marissa poured her tea, then checked Maya, 37.6 AIC. A sheen of fine sweat on the baby's temple, like dew. It's down, she murmured. Logan leaned back, for the first time all day feeling his spine loosen. Before leaving, Alicia said, "Tonight, keep rhythm like last night. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., I want you at my office. If Vince and Derek want to meet, it'll be there, not here." "We'll be there," Logan said. The door closed. Marissa stuck a small note on the wall calendar. 9, Alicia's office. Then, under the protocol sheet, she added, "No statements at the door, no reading comments." Logan read it, nodded. "We keep the rhythm," he repeated, like a mantra. Outside, the city roared like a market of rumors. Inside, there was a sign on the door, a sealed chain of custody for the white envelope, a phone face down, and a child breathing steady. The boundary wasn't marble walls. The boundary was rhythm, and this home had chosen its own. She stuck the new note beside the calendar. Logan read it and asked, "If Jordan, your son, comes over, do we need an extra passcode?" Marissa smiled, slightly surprised he remembered. "Jordan will be here after school tomorrow." We'll add a follow-up question. What's Jordan's favorite subject? Answer, math. Logan chuckled, jotting in the margin of the note, Jordan, math. 5:05 p.m. Logan's phone buzzed with an internal email. The committee had requested Charlotte file a conflict of interest disclosure within 24 hours. Whitestone sent a polite letter, open to renegotiation. Logan forwarded both to Alicia, who replied with a thumbs-up emoji. The rhythm continued in their favor. 6:00 p.m., Dr. Rina Patel joined a scheduled televisit. Marissa stepped into frame reporting, fever peaked at 38.1, now holding steady between 37.5 and 37.6, baby eating well, sleeping well. Dr. Patel nodded, advised continued monitoring. Call if it rose to 38.5 degrees with irritability. Otherwise, warm compresses and fluids were sufficient. Logan thanked her, screenshotted the instructions, printed them, and taped them next to the protocol. 7:10 p.m. Grace texted, "The two men from this morning left the building at 12:40. No return." Marissa replied, "Thanks. Send me the entry-exit logs for record." Diego sent additional B3 garage footage. Black SUV in at 12:32, out at 12:41. Alicia received everything, responded, "Bring printed copies at 9 a.m. tomorrow." They ate a simple dinner, soup, bread, sliced apples. Logan sat opposite, glancing at the crib without flinching when Maya rolled over. "I'm going to formally offer you lead, care, plus household ops," he said. "Long-term contract, commensurate salary, insurance for Jordan." Marissa set down her spoon. "I accept, with the same conditions as before. Stable bedtime. No shouting into phones in front of Maya. Doors, stance stays the same. And Jordan gets his own space." "Agreed," Logan replied almost instantly. "I thank you for giving this home a rhythm." "Every home has a rhythm," Marissa said. "It's just that many forget to listen." 8:02 p.m. PR sent over a draft statement, short, emotionless, mechanical. Logan frowned. Marissa read it, picked up a pen, and replaced exactly 2 sentences. "We do not comment on personal matters, but we safeguard all legal processes. For the company, we are committed to decisions based on long-term value and data security." Logan sent the revision back to the committee, suggesting they use it. Harold replied, Sharper. Approved. 8:35 p.m. Logan's phone lit with a text from an unknown number. A low-angle photo taken from the opposite hall of the penthouse, captioned, "Nice door." Ice ran down his spine. He handed it to Marissa. She looked at it for a long moment, then said, "That angle is from the side hallway, where the building cameras don't fully cover. Tomorrow, I'll have Diego install a magnetic door chime, and tonight I'll put a temporary vibration sensor on the frame." "You have a sensor?" Logan asked. Marissa shrugged. "Jordan's into robotics. We have a few DIY pieces at home." A faint smile flickered, cutting through a shard of tension. 9:10 p.m. Alicia sent the roadmap for tomorrow's 9 a.m. meeting. Location: Alicia's office, private conference room, cameras, building security. Attendees: Alicia, Victor, Logan, opposing side, representatives, possibly Vince, Derek plus attorney. Objectives: 1. Verify identity. 2. Require all exchanges through legal counsel. 3. No discussion at residence. 4. Record any threats. 5. Offer a payment path, if valid, that doesn't affect the cloud division. Marissa read it, nodded. Variables separated cleanly. Logan put away his phone, shoulders lowering a notch. 10:05 p.m. Do not disturb switched on for both phones. Marissa checked the main and side doors, stuck the magnetic chime she'd pulled from her kit, smaller than a postage stamp, onto the frame. If the door vibrated, it would ping her phone. She looked at Logan. "Tonight I'll sit less." "You'll sleep more." Logan glanced at the nursery, where Maya slept on her side, one small hand against her cheek. "If you weren't here," he said, "I would have called Charlotte at 2:13 and opened the door at 4:19. "And we would have lost the rhythm," Marissa finished, without reproach. "But you didn't, that's the difference." 10:40 p.m. The house dimmed on timer. In the corner of the living room, the sensor blinked green once, then fell silent. Logan lay down on the sofa, no longer compelled to stare at the door. Marissa sat against the wall, back straight but shoulders at ease. Before slipping into a slower, deeper sleep than the night before, Logan spoke just loud enough for the keeper of rhythm to hear. "Tomorrow at 9 how, the door opens in the right place." "And closes in the right place," Marissa replied. Outside, blogs kept ticking upward. Inside, the silent declaration was already written. In the timer lights, the do not disturb, the lily code, a sensor the size of a stamp, and a child's steady breathing. The night poured over them like a thin blanket. And once again, the home kept its rhythm. 8:42 a.m. The sky was clear as freshly cleaned glass. Logan and Marissa stepped into the lobby of Alicia Monroe's office. Light-veined stone, a walnut reception desk, and a neatly placed sign. "No legal papers accepted at reception." Building security checked the list. Mr. Logan Pierce, Miss Marissa Cole, Mr. Sir Hoy Victor Tan, arbor a conference room. Marissa's eyes scanned down the hallway, marking a blind spot between two columns, exactly where someone could accidentally stand to look in. She logged it in her mind like a set coordinate. 8:56. Alicia appeared in a charcoal coat, thick case file in hand. "Ground rules," she said quickly. 1. Record the meeting. 2. All communication from here on goes through attorneys. 3. No discussion about family. 4. If they mention Maya, we end immediately and file for a restraining order. Logan nodded. Marissa flashed 2 fingers, 2 sentences, reminding him not to drift. 9:03. The door opened. Vince and Derek entered first, followed by a young man with thin glasses and a leather briefcase. "Shepard, associate at Vance and Morrell," he said smoothly. Alicia gestured for them to sit, set the recorder in the middle of the table, and press the button. "Tuesday meeting, 9:04 a.m., she said clearly. Participants as listed. Purpose: establish a legal pathway for claims regarding the estate of Mrs. Elena Pierce. Shepard began. We're just looking for an open conversation. No one wants this spilling into the press. Alicia placed the evidence bag on the table, projecting photos, the bouquet, white envelope, card reading, "Cooperate and it stays quiet," the 4:19 a.m. elevator log, the SUV plate, 8NQ6A7, and the 2:13 a.m. email CCing Charlotte Hayes. "This was your open last night," Alicia said evenly. From this moment, all contact with Mr. Pierce goes through legal counsel. No visiting his home, no late-night calls, no leaving items at the door. Violate this, restraining order on the spot. Vince gave a dry laugh. We were just bringing flowers. From the side chair behind Logan, Marissa didn't speak. She tilted her head just slightly, as if to say, "Don't bite the bait." Alicia continued, "As for legal basis, you're invoking UCC-1 on Drexel Crescent. Fine. Then keep your claim within the estate of Mrs. Elena Pierce. No rights attached to Pierce Cloud or client data. The data access clause Whitestone slipped into the term sheet this morning? Impossible. We have an independent committee in place. All conflicts will be examined." Shepard's eyes flickered briefly at the word Whitestone. Alicia leaned in. "And before you say coincidence, note, public filings show Vance and Morrell represented a Whitestone-linked fund in 2019. We're not concluding anything today, but this meeting record and the soft threat evidence will be attached if we escalate to professional oversight bodies." Derek planted his hands on the table. "What we want is simple. Payment. No games." Victor Tan slid a packet forward. "Verified obligations of Elena's estate per the trustee bank. Payment path. Escrow trust with scheduled disbursements. No conditions tied to the company. You also sign a pledge. No contact with Mr. Pierce's residence. No board outreach, no threats involving a minor. That part is non-negotiable." The air felt taut like water's surface before wind. Shepard frowned. "As for the media, that blog post wasn't us." "Good," Alicia said. "Then you won't object if we subpoena the hosting service to trace the IP." Shepard stayed silent. Vince kicked his chair leg, but Derek put a hand out, signaling he understood the pool's edge. Logan spoke his 2 sentences, just as rehearsed. "I will settle what's legitimately Elena's. The door opens in the right place, the lawyer's office. Everything else stays shut." His voice was low, steady, and weighted. Behind him, Marissa's shoulders eased. A line of tension in Logan's neck softened. Alicia pulled out a standstill and non-contact agreement. "Sign a 30-day standstill while we finalize the payment path. If not, we file for an order and harassment suit." She slid the pen across. 12 seconds ticked by. Shepard skimmed, murmured to Vince and Derek. Finally, they signed. Alicia switched off the recorder and closed her laptop. "We reconvene in 7 days, here, not at a child's door." The closing line was like sealing a chest. In the hall, Logan leaned against the wall for a beat. Marissa didn't ask, "You okay?" She just tapped 2 fingers on his wrist, rhythm. He nodded, breathing evenly. Logan's phone buzzed. A text from Victor. "Whitestone drops data clause. Extends 5 days. Committee hearing tomorrow afternoon." Logan looked at Marissa. She smiled faintly. "The rhythm's in our hands now." 3:40 p.m., penthouse. Maya was napping, cheeks flushed. Diego had installed the new magnetic chime in the side hallway. Marissa tested the vibration sensor, Jordan's old build, syncing it with her phone app. "Done," she said. The door talks to me now. Elevator chime. Jordan stepped out, backpack heavy with books, eyes bright. "Hello, Mr. Pierce," he said, unsure if to call him Logan or Sir. "Logan's fine," Logan replied, extending a hand. "What's your favorite subject?" "Math," Jordan answered without pause. Marissa and Logan both laughed, the extra passcode confirmed in person. In the kitchen, Logan pulled out a small box. "Sensor kit, I bought it, but needs an expert." Jordan opened it, eyes lighting up. "Accelerometer, reed switch, ESP32, nice." Marissa leaned on the counter, watching her son's shoulders relax, the constant edge of a child with a watchful mother replaced by the ease of having the right kind of toys. Logan sat on the floor with him, wiring, uploading code, setting a vibration threshold. "If the door shakes more than these hours for 300 meters, the app pings," Jordan explained. Logan nodded like a CTO listening to a product demo. 5:20 p.m. Dr. Reena Patel called for a quick check. Maya's vitals were within range, no meds needed, just warm compresses and fluids. Logan thanked her, agreeing to another online consult if anything changed. In his mind, a new map was forming. The home's rhythm, bedtime, mealtime, doors, chimes, do not disturb, and the company's rhythm, committee, Whitestone, hearings. No more stepping on each other's beats. Dinner found them around the round table. Logan slid a contract to Marissa, lead care, plus household ops, clear benefits, insurance for Jordan, vacation, STEM tuition stipend. Everything you asked for. Bedtime stability, no yelling into phones in front of Maya, door stance. "It's all here," Logan said. "And Jordan gets his own room. We'll set up a robotics corner." Marissa read it the way someone who signed important papers reads, carefully, without rush. She looked up. Agreed. They shook hands, not too long, not too tight, but enough for the house itself to hear the click of rhythm locking in. Night came, 10:30 p.m., do not disturb lit on both phones. Alicia's end-of-day email arrived. Standstill active. Whitestone delayed. Committee meets at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Sleep. Marissa's eyes smiled. Your boss knows the one right word. Logan stood at the nursery doorway. Maya breathed evenly, lips pursed with a faint milk line. Jordan sat at the side desk, brow furrowed over code, back straight. Marissa added a small label inside the supply cabinet. Warm cloths, drawer 2, thermometer, left compartment, sensor, top shelf. The house now had a legend for itself. You know, Logan said, voice low as if not to stir the air. The first night I thought safety was thick locks and lawyers on call. Tonight I know it's rhythm, and someone in the right place. Marissa tapped her heart, joking. Metronome's here. Then pointed to the crib. But the conductor's her. They both laughed softly. Outside, the city kept shifting colors like an endless ticker board. Inside, the door was closed, the magnetic chime silent, the sensor asleep like a cat. The lily code sat behind its frame. The protocol on the fridge, do not disturb a small steady light. And Maya's breathing, deep even, sounded like a pen drawing a line under a sentence. The right door has been opened. Everything else closed. And that was the story of a billionaire who learned that safety isn't just locks and lawyers. It's a steady rhythm, and the people who know how to stand in the right place. What about you? If you were in Logan's position, how would you handle pressure and leverage like this? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this story meaningful and compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.